Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. And yeah, it is literally Thanksgiving. It is the night of Thanksgiving that I'm recording this, and I'm flying solo for this one. Jake and I were gonna do a double feature tonight with Frozen and Homefront. But something came up at the last minute, so doing Homefront now, and I think the both of us are going to see Frozen tomorrow morning. So you'll see, if that happens, you'll see the video right below. And there's a lot of movies that are out this week. I think like 4 of them. And whenever there's 4 movies, typically we have to split that up because I don't have enough space on the battery or the camera to record 4 midnight screenings at the same time, and plus it's freezing and we would be out here for fucking ever. So, we got these 2 out of the way. I know there's also like Black Nativity and something. We didn't get Old Boy. Old Boy is, just being released in select cities for this week, and it didn't come to Springfield. I don't know if it's going to come to Springfield next week or the week after or whenever, but whenever it does, we'll be at Old Boy. And holiday weeks are typically the hardest for us to get out and do this because, well, it's a holiday week. As you can see, I'm the only one here doing it by myself. So it'll be the same thing once Christmas rolls around. Although typically, I had a very nice Thanksgiving, but, typically even on holidays, during the day I spend it with the family, and my nights are typically free. So I was still able to come out to a movie, which is really packed out here. It was, even our screening was, like, really crowded. It's been a while since I've been at a cheesy hard R action movie, and there was a crowd at it, so that was cool. I enjoyed that. This movie, I don't know how easy this is gonna be to talk about, because, on the one hand, it's awful, but on the other hand, it's watchable. How's that for a fucking review? This whole movie exists because of the dumbest motherfuckers that I've ever seen. And that might be an overstatement, but some of the dumbest motherfuckers I've ever seen in a goddamn action movie before. I'm just simply gonna have to break down this whole goddamn movie for you because it's so stupid. It's even for me. Even for me. I'm the guy who gave, like, glowing reviews to both the Expendables movies, most Statham movies, a lot of Stallone movies, a lot of Arnold. Cheesy action, it's my thing. It's totally my thing. This movie's pretty stupid. So Statham is, he's an undercover cop. Statham's an undercover cop, and at the beginning of it, he's Rob Zombie. He's Rob Zombie in the opening scene. He's part of a biker gang that is running a meth lab, and then the operation goes sour. The cops show up. There's a shootout. One of the bad guys, like the head of the biker gang, his son, is shot like 100 times by all the cops standing around him because it looks like he's pulling out a gun, and the cops, just every single one of them, just opens fire. And this, like, leaves Statham kind of traumatized, and it's 2 years later, and I'm sort of sitting there like, are they really doing the operation went sour and now I've quit my job route with this? I mean, not only have I seen that in many fucking action movies, but I've also seen it in more than one Statham movie. Killer Elite was like that. Some War might have been kind of like that, a little bit, I guess, but, so it's 2 years later, but then he's living like in the deep south with his daughter, and then they're talking about how her mom died within that 2 years, a character we never saw. We never see the mom, we never see her die. I'm not even sure how she died, but she did. This doesn't come back later. It's not like it's like Lethal Weapon 2, it turns out that they had a hand in his wife's death. Now, she's just dead, so I'm not really sure if he quit his job because of the operation that went sour or because of his wife. I'm not sure. So, this whole conflict, the whole conflict in this movie, practically from the beginning to end, is literally because of a grade school schoolyard playground fight. That's it. The movie is written by Stallone, and the whole setup of this movie is based on a scene that he pretty much lifted right out of Rocky V. Statham's daughter is getting picked on by Cartman, and then she punches him. She punches him, and she drop kicks him. She like punches him in the face. She bloodies up his nose. Okay, all right. She's defending herself. That's cool. You know, I mean, she did a really good job. She did a really good job. She broke this little fucker's nose. That was fun. I liked that. So she broke his nose, and then his parents are Kate Bosworth, meth head Kate Bosworth in this, and then some other trashy looking guy. And they just now have it out for Jason Statham. Like, they want him dead. Because not only did his daughter kick their son's ass, but the redneck dude also tried starting shit with Jason Statham in the parking lot. And yeah, Statham handed the guy's ass to him on a Thanksgiving platter. So okay. Now what happens is they just want to beat Statham up, which most of this movie is the villains are just dumb motherfuckers who don't know any better to just leave this guy alone. Just leave him alone. He can clearly beat the shit out of you. Just fucking leave him alone. But on the one hand, if you're gonna be stupid enough to fuck with Statham in this movie, you might as well be a dumb fucking redneck meth head, which I guess props to the movie. They made their villains dumb redneck fucking meth heads who were probably stupid enough to fuck with Jason Statham. So they're harassing him at a gas pump. They break into his house and shit like that. But here's the thing. The conflict of the grade school shit is more or less resolved within 10 minutes. Like, tensions are a little high with the mom, Kate Bosworth, and the dad, so they talk to the dad's brother, who's James Franco. James Franco's the heavy in this movie. They talk to James Franco, and they're like, why don't you, like, kind of fuck with this guy a little bit? Like, we want our revenge. Why don't you just fucking take care of him? Take care of this guy. So he goes and he's like, okay. And he goes and breaks into their house. He breaks into their house. He's fucking snooping around shit. He's like steals the daughter's toys. He flattens their tires. And then Statham has all of his files and records just in his basement. So James Franco just freely sorts through his files and finds out that not only is he an undercover cop, but he's also the undercover cop who put in jail another meth dealer, a big-time meth dealer that Franco knows. So that's what ties it into the opening scene. So, but here's the thing. The grade school fight is totally resolved by this point. Statham has gone to them and apologized, and then they apologized back. Their kids are now playing together. Their kids, the fat kid is now at the little girl's birthday party. Like, things are cool, but James Franco really wants to start selling his fucking meth and wants statewide distribution. So he wants to serve Jason Statham up to these other fucking biker meth heads. And then that turns into a big shootout at the end of the movie and a car chase that ends with Statham almost beating James Franco to death at the end of this movie. And then Jason Statham goes to he goes and visits the meth dealer guy, the biker dude from the beginning of the movie. He goes and visits him in jail and says, "I'm still alive. When you get out, I'll be waiting." Hangs up, and that's the movie. That's your movie right there. It's 90 minutes of, is this a cautionary tale about, like, hey, look, you don't want to fucking be bullying people at school and shit, because look what'll happen. shootouts in the goddamn bayou. That's what'll happen. That's what'll fucking happen if fucking bullies start some shit on the playground. It's gonna lead to people, to meth wars, people getting fucking killed, people just getting slaughtered left and right. That's the entire setup of this movie, is because of two 8-year-olds giving each other shit on the playground. Movie. There you go. That's the goddamn fucking movie. That is one of the most far out setups I've seen for an action movie. I think that maybe they kind of want it to be a little like, maybe a little like a Walking Tall type deal, or like a 70s sort of vigilante movie, like a Straw Dogs kind of thing. But it presents itself like an action, and it is an action film through and through. It's not really grounded in reality like those movies were, and that's the difference between something like this and something like a Walking Tall or a Straw Dogs. Whereas if it starts out with something simple and then leads to some fucking shit, okay, I can kind of buy that a little more, and something that's a little more grounded than this, which is a big shoot-'em-up action movie that exists because rednecks are too stupid to fuck with Jason Statham, and they're all on meth, and a couple of kids fought at a playground. This movie is really stupid. But here's why it's relatively watchable. One, because it is so stupid. And, well, okay, honestly, there's a lot of reasons that make this thing watchable outside of the fucking plot. One of the things is, Stallone is really good at writing villains. He is. Stallone can write himself a fucking villain. Stallone can write a villain that you just hate, that you just want to see them get their ass handed to him. He's always been good at doing that. He's always been good at writing bad guys. And in this, the villains are so incompetent and so dumb. So there's literally one point where James Franco yells at Winona Ryder, who's like his meth girl cohort. He yells at her and literally says, "You brought a witness here? Are you fucking retarded?" Like, they're all calling each other stupid. They're just dumb fucking rednecks in this goddamn thing. They're so dumb that they are fully aware that they're dumb. So because these villains are so mind-numbingly stupid, it is kind of awesome seeing 90 minutes of them getting their asses kicked. Bones fucking broken, heads shot, kneecaps shot off, hands getting spiked into walls, people fucking blowing up, people getting pulverized, beaten left and right in this thing. That almost makes this fucking movie worth it. Seeing Statham just fucking pulverize these guys for about 90 minutes, because it is eternally satisfying watching these dumb fat fucks get their fucking teeth kicked in. It really, really is. And it's a movie that exists primarily because of miscommunication and even the opening scene. Like, even the tie-in to the biker gang is dumb, because when things go to shit at the beginning of it, really, in any other normal undercover operation like this, Statham would have been led away in handcuffs along with the rest of the bikers just to fucking hide his identity. In the second the cops burst in, he makes it well aware he's the narc. He's the undercover guy. So they fucking know that Statham did this shit. So it's only a matter of goddamn time that they'd probably try catching up with him. But yeah, watching these guys just get fucking knuckles sandwiched in the goddamn brains by Statham. You know? Alright, man. It was kind of like fucking kind of like watching like Cobra. Although Cobra is kind of awesome. But Cobra is another one of the... Cobra's a better movie than this. But Cobra, though, is another one where it works because it's Stallone just is killing hundreds of dumb motherfuckers. And I got to admit, I kind of got a kick out of that. And there's other things about it that are good too. Honestly, the acting in this is way better than it has any fucking right to be. Statham, of course, he of course he carries the movie. He totally does. Statham has. You could put Statham on screen with anybody, and Statham is so charismatic and so likable that he can have chemistry with fucking anything. He's so good, he could even have chemistry with Liam Hemsworth. He's that good. And anyone Statham is opposite of in this movie, he works well with the daughter, who, again, really good, surprisingly good for a movie like this. The daughter totally works in this. Like, a character like that in a movie like this could be this close to being really goddamn fucking annoying and cringe-inducing. But the little girl in this, like, really works. Like, she does good, and she's also good with Statham. And it's fun seeing scenes where you have a more vulnerable Statham just being a good dad and teaching his daughter how to defend herself and, you know, defending her against these fucking white trash idiots. He's great. He's great in those scenes. Even scenes where, even though it never shows his wife in the movie, but even when he's talking about her, he shows some tears at one point. I like seeing a more vulnerable Statham in movies like this. Safe did a really damn good job of that. He even works well with... There's sort of a love interest in the movie, in that there's kind of a love interest in the first half, but it's just dropped completely out of this movie. He gets pretty close with his daughter's teacher, who... I can't remember her name. She's the redhead from Under the Dome. She was the redhead from the first Twilight movie. Her. The one who was replaced by Bryce Dallas Howard. Her. She's the teacher in this, and she's good, and Statham is good opposite her. They do have chemistry together enough to where I wish they just didn't drop that entire story. It's just gone out of the movie. Just 3/4 of the way into this movie, she just disappears. She's just no longer in the movie anymore. That's just it of her character. We don't know what happens between the two of them. We don't know what happens with her. She's just gone. And it's not like it's a cameo. She's in the first half of the movie quite a fucking bit. And she just leaves halfway into it. It would be like if in halfway through Lethal Weapon 3, Rene Russo just disappeared. Like, I mean, even though, the girl in this movie's not, like, one of the action leads or anything like that, but she is still one of the leads. James Franco, I like James Franco a lot. What I like about James Franco is that James Franco will do anything. Like, everyone has a very stereotypical view of James Franco in their head, which is that, you know, really high-waisted kind of personality. Which, yeah, even me, when you mention the name James Franco, that's kind of the image I go to in my head, too. But this guy will do anything, and really kind of has. Like, he will play those stoner types, but also do heavy fucking drama. He's the bad guy in this movie, a psycho fucking meth head, drug dealing ass in this fucking thing. And then he'll pop up on a soap opera. He'll pop up on random TV shows. He will play a cameo as Hugh Hefner in Lovelace. He'll play random drug dealer in The Iceman. I give total respect to that guy, because he will, if he wants a part, he will gladly go for a part, no matter how big or no matter how small the part is. If he wants to do it, if he thinks he can do it, he will try, he will give it his best shot, and usually he does well. I like James Franco. I really do. In this, it is weird seeing him as heavy against Jason Statham, but they make it realistic. When he goes head to head with Statham at the end, he almost gets murdered by Statham's fists. This isn't like fucking Alex Cross, where we're supposed to buy that Tyler Perry's goddamn ass could actually take on Matthew Fox. No. Statham, like, fucking beats his ass at the end of this goddamn movie. I think that I'm going to get a little bit into the direction here. I think that they're kind of trying to make Franco look slightly more imposing than he is in some shots in this, even though he really does have the steely-eyed stare down. Like, he's got a good bad guy look to him in this. In the eyes, in the facial hair, and the kind of sneering that he's doing. He's good. He is. He does a good job in this. It's fun seeing him play that kind of part. But there's a lot of camera angles where they kind of shoot him from a sort of an upward Dutch angle, where it seems like they're maybe trying to make him look a bit bigger and more imposing than he is. I don't really know, but they do that. They do that a lot in this movie, and honestly, he does do a good job at it. He turns in a good performance. It sort of seems like, for the most part, he kind of comes across as if he's acting in a more serious movie than this actually is. Like, in a movie like this, a cheesy-ass action movie like this, and with James Franco in that role, it would have been more fun if he was maybe a little more over the top and a little more maniacal, just batshit crazy, instead of pretty. Don't get me wrong, the performance, it's not a bad performance, and this kind of performance, again, would work better in a more serious flick like a Straw Dogs or a Walking Tall. In here, sometimes you almost wish for that kind of really, like, just cartoonish, over the top kind of thing with the character that he's playing in this. Hell, at one point they he flat out sits out the ending shootout at the end of the movie. At one point they bring in another lead villain, who's this guy named Cyrus, who's this big biker looking dude, and they kind of sideline James Franco for a little bit. Literally, they make him stay home from the shootout at the end of it, and then it's this Cyrus guy who shows up and then, like, okay, here's where I'm gonna get into the direction. The direction of this is really goddamn inconsistent, because there are some shots that look really good. There are some shots where, you know, they take time, they set up a good shot, they film it, they film some really good scenery in this, some really good establishing shots too, whether it's in the swamps or in the city or wherever. They take some time and really put some effort into some of their angles. For instance, like sequences where Statham and his daughter are horse riding. You know, the lighting that they do on there with a lot of the pollen flying through the scene looks good. And then there's other scenes where he just can't fucking keep the goddamn camera still. It's real. It seems like they brought in just some fucking hack to come in and direct the action sequences, and then someone else directed the quieter moments. Because at some points the camera work is really good to watch, and then at other points it looks like fucking Die Hard 5. Did he direct half of the movie, hopped up on espresso, and then directed the second half after he fucking crashed? I don't know, like, when he's fighting Cyrus at the end of the movie, I didn't know until halfway into the fight that he was fighting Cyrus, because it isn't until halfway into the fight that you fucking see Cyrus's face, and he stabs Cyrus at the end several times. I couldn't fucking tell where, but he stabbed him somewhere. Most of the fucking action sequences are like that. Like, when I knew I was in trouble when it was showing bikers approaching at the beginning of the movie, and in a tracking shot, when they're following along the bikers, it just flash zooms out of fucking nowhere. I could barely tell what was going on in the first action sequence in this film. In the shootout at the end, that was okay. That was fine. I mean, it was at least better. It was better than some of the shootout at the beginning of it, because at the end I could kind of tell what was going on, except for the Cyrus parts. I couldn't really fucking tell what was going on there. And then but then some parts work. And so honestly, even the action sequences are inconsistent because there's a car chase at the end of it. It's not that it's great, but it's okay. I could make heads or tails of what was going on. It certainly didn't look like anything that like Brian and Irving were describing in Getaway. But then, but then other parts of it, someone will be shooting at Statham's daughter, and then it'll cut to another area of the shootout, and it'll be Statham, but the angles will be so similar that it would take me a second to realize it was Statham, and not the guy who was shooting at Statham's daughter. So, do I recommend this movie? I would recommend it as a rental. Full price? No. Rental? Yeah. Honestly, even like an early matinee, you catch like a $5 screening or something like that. There will be moments, if you're anything like me, there will be moments when you're satisfied, because in some of the hand-to-hand combat stuff, some of it, the ending scene aside, like the stuff at the gas station, that worked. When he's fighting Kate Bosworth's brother, that worked. She was good in this. She was good in this too. She was actually good for a change. Fuck, honestly, I don't even know if I would have known it was her if she wasn't if she wasn't named in the trailers or on the opening credits. She did a good job. Most of the acting is solid in this. I really can't point to a bad performance in this movie. It's like I said, it's really better than it needs to be. Well, I guess that's all I got for it, really. I mean, just listening to how preposterous this is, everything I said about this movie's plot, if that makes you smile, if that makes you laugh, because it fucking made me laugh, it made me laugh when I settled in and just accepted what was coming. And if that sounds entertaining to you, if that sounds like, if that sounds like you're like me, where it's like, this movie is so dumb, but I'm kind of slightly enjoying seeing like all these asses getting kicked, then, you know, pick it up as a rental. Go see an early matinee of this thing, because it's better than Parker. It's better than Parker. It's definitely not one of the worst movies I've seen all year. It's so not one of the best either. But take that for whatever it's fucking worth. Seriously. Take that for what it's worth. It's a movie that's so stupid, but has enough satisfying moments in it that you'll find something to like in it. You will. All right, I'm gonna take a break and talk a little about the trailers. All right, I got like every fucking trailer under the sun at this goddamn thing. So usually I don't really write them down anymore, because honestly, sometimes I don't know if I'm going into some of these movies, I don't know if I'm even gonna talk about the trailers, because sometimes we talk about the movie for so long that it starts getting cold in the car and we just want to go home. Oh, you know what? Actually, going back to fucking Homefront, actually there was another thing that I kind of liked about this movie too. When you first see the daughter, when they're in the house, when they've moved into their new home and shit, she's sitting in her bed playing with her kitten. And like probably most people in that audience, probably sat there looking at that like, oh fuck. Oh, these dumb fucking rednecks are gonna fucking kill the cat at some point, aren't they? Really? And then, you know, Statham has like horses, so at one point you're like, are they like gonna set his barn on fire or something? What the fuck is gonna happen? They don't. They lead you to think they do. When Franco breaks into Statham's house and goes into his basement, he finds their cat and he's holding it, and then it cuts, and then you see Statham's daughter looking for the cat. And later, so you're like, oh, he fucking killed the cat. God damn it. And then, one point Statham's walking through the woods and he sees a head with the collar on it, and he gets up closer and it's one of his daughter's like doll heads on a post with the cat's collar around it. It's not the cat. And later, when Statham just goes into Franco's meth lab, which is as easy to find as Statham's record files were, Statham, like, sets the place a fucking blaze. Just rigs it up to where the second they turn on the lights, it will fucking rain fire on it. And he finds the cat there. Franco just kidnapped the cat and was taking care of the cat and feeding it, giving it milk and, like, food and stuff. So Statham finds the cat and gets jumped by some rednecks, beats the unholy shit out of him in a great scene, and then takes the cat and goes home. Alright, good man, Sylvester Stallone. Good man. You didn't kill the cat, you saved the cat, and that's awesome. This movie would be Lloyd approved. See? There he is. Okay. What trailers did I fucking get here? I got, we're getting a fucking Haunted House 2. Haunted House 2. That's a movie that's fucking coming out. I don't know why I'm mad. I didn't even see the first one. I don't even know if I'll be at the second one. Even though I am going to more of the bad movies next year. Like, next year you'll see me at a lot of the Tyler Perry movies and a lot of the kids' movies. So I don't know. I might get stuck at Haunted House 2, depending on what else is out that weekend. So yeah, Haunted House 2 is coming out. We don't get our fucking Dread 2, but fucking Haunted House 2. Thanks, America. We got, fucking Need for Speed. I don't know if they showed the trailer for Need for Speed. Is this movie coming out, this car movie coming out with Cars and Drugs, I guess, with Aaron Paul. I don't know if they fucking showed the trailer for this in front of here because it's also an action movie, or if because this movie has meth in it and fucking Need for Speed is starring Jesse Pinkman. Honestly, yeah, it's not really even starring Aaron Paul. It's starring Jesse Pinkman in what looks like a late 90s Nick Cage Bruckheimer movie, but not one of the good ones. More like this movie would be on the B side of Gone in 60 Seconds, and Gone in 60 Seconds sucks. This movie looks really bad. And was that a fucking rip-off of Dunkashane that it was playing on the goddamn trailers? Some of the trailers in this have weird music. There's that Out of the Furnace movie, which honestly looks pretty good. But it's playing like a haunting spoken verse version of Neil Young's Heart of Gold. Like, that's odd. That's weird, but oddly fitting. I don't know about that shit they were playing in the Need for Speed trailer. That looks bad. I really haven't seen Aaron Paul in that much other than Breaking Bad. And he was really good on there. He was. Buying him as the lead in an action movie, we'll see. This one, I don't fucking know if did they seriously put that trailer at the beginning of this movie because there's a lot of meth imagery in Homefront and they wanted to put Jesse Pinkman at the beginning of it. Alright, we got the full trailer for, I say we, even though I was the only one there, the full trailer for Wolf of Wall Street. Oh man, I still can't wait for that movie to come out. I'm gonna love that movie so goddamn much. Man, that's one of those great, the other trailer, and then this one too, like, if either one of these trailers shows up at every movie I go to until the release of that film, I am cool with that. I'm totally fucking cool with that. That is a 3-hour movie I am fucking looking forward to this December. It's the only 3-hour movie I'm fucking looking forward to this December. It's almost unfair to every movie that the trailer of Wolf of Wall Street plays in front of, because even at this, I mean, this is a Statham movie written by Stallone, who surprisingly doesn't have a cameo in this. I'm surprised he had a cameo of Staying Alive, but not this. Anyway, even to this movie that for all intents and purposes I was looking forward to because it's Statham and Stallone, but even the beginning of this, like, trailer for Wolf of Wall Street pops up, I'm sitting there like man, I really want to see this movie. I would, if someone came out at the beginning, if the manager came out and said, would you rather watch Homefront or special screening of Wolf of Wall Street? Yeah, I would pray that that would happen. Oh my God. Yeah, Out of the Furnace, we got that. We also got the new Arnold movie, Sabotage is what it's called. I think previously it was called 10. Now it's called Sabotage. I am actually genuinely curious about that movie. That was a good trailer. It looks interesting. It looks, I don't know, like a cross. It looks like a cross between I don't know, Predator and A Simple Plan. They're like a team of mercenaries or some shit, and they come across like $10 million, and then people are after them for the $10 million. Some crazy shit like that. It's Arnold. It's Terrence Howard. Mireille Enos is in this movie, like fucking kicking ass and shit. Like, I love her a lot. She is awesome. Like, I know people have their issues with The Killing, but I love that goddamn fucking show. I am glad it's coming back to Netflix. She is awesome. She is fucking awesome in that show. She was even awesome in fucking World War Z, even though that movie was not good. And then in this, one part, she's doing flips and shit and fucking shooting people, wearing like red wigs and some shit. Like, okay, yeah, I'm fucking down for this. Yeah, I want to see her in an action lead. That would be really, really cool. I am sold on this movie. If I'm worried about anything regarding the movie, is that it's co-written by Skip Woods. Skip Die Hard 5 Woods. Skip X-Men Origins Wolverine Woods is the co-writer of this film. Maybe that's why they showed that trailer in front of this movie, because the goddamn fucking shaky cam in this was equal to some of those goddamn fucking movies. They don't advertise that Skip Woods has a hand in this. He's co-writer. Thank God he's not the only fucking writer. He's co-writer with like one of the writers of Training Day, and the movie's directed by the dude who did End of Watch. Now those movies are good, so I'm hoping that this movie Sabotage is more in their wheelhouse than a lot of the shit that I've seen from fucking Skip Woods. That's what I'm fucking hoping for. That I am genuinely looking forward to that, and it isn't just because, like, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's got Arnold in it. Of course, I'm going to see it. That legitimately looks like it might be a pretty good movie, and not just like, hey, it was 90 minutes. I had a good time. Whatever. Like that. I'm intrigued. I am intrigued by that movie. So I think that was more or less it. Really, and that's all I wrote down. I have old notes in here from fucking previous trailers. Oh, I could talk about the trailer for The Counselor again, or fuck, what the fuck? I can't understand my goddamn gibberish. I could talk about the trailer of Lone Survivor again. Whatever. So there are, like I said at the beginning, there are a couple other movies that are out. We just only had time to go see 2 at a time, and even that was hard this week, given the holidays. So, at some point within the next couple of days, or at least at the latest next week, we'll get around to seeing the other stuff that's out in theaters. There's Black Nativity and The Book Thief also is showing here. Again, don't know when Old Boy's coming out, so that's my thoughts on Homefront. And like I said earlier, take it for what it's worth. See ya.